really try and look for an international opponent that could step up to fight both at short notice and somebody with huge credibility, and I think we've met those factors in De Roa. He's a BJJ black belt, he is a Muay Thai fighter, so you know, he really complements Dricus' style of fighting. On a logistical level, getting everything sorted for somebody to step in within, with only a week to spare, is a nightmare for us. Obviously cancelling flights, changing flight bookings, but at the same time, that is all swept aside by the fact that we have a legitimate opponent to face Dricus du Plessis. Dricus is happy, we're happy.
Could you give us the lowdown on this specific opponent? Why Brazilian and why Jose De Roa?
Cool. I don't really think that the fact that he's Brazilian has a massive part to play in it. I know in the MMA world, being Brazilian is a big thing because we know that they have a high caliber of BJJ, which this guy does. He's a BJJ brown belt, and he comes from Pitbull Brothers in Brazil, which is a well-known gym with a lot of high-level athletes. So the main reason we've looked at him, his record is spectacular. He's running wins. And out of the 20 athletes that we proposed this fight to, he was the one that stepped up and said, I want this, I'm going to do everything to be here. That's why we chose him, and ultimately it fits the style of fight for Dricus. It's going to be a great matchup. So let's get it right. We weren't happy to change this opponent at short notice either. I mean, it's the last thing any promotion wants to do, is change the headline contender in any fight. This fight had been built up. Henry Fadipe is still building it up. He's going full guns at Dricus, saying, I still want to fight you. But the reality is we needed to look for an opponent. It wasn't our first option because we looked locally first. Cameron Pritchard unfortunately couldn't take the fight. He was our the first guy that we looked at. Everyone else that we looked at locally wasn't available at that stage. So abroad is where we went, and we found a great replacement fighter. That's all that really matters. Somebody who's credible, somebody who can come here and put on a hell of a show. That's what we wanted. I think Dricus is prepared no matter what. I mean, he is so stoic and focused on every single opponent that he takes on, every fight that he goes into. In terms of the style of fight, I think it's harder for him now because this guy does have a better BJJ game than Henry Fadipe had, and you know, he was preparing for a southpaw. This guy's not a southpaw, he's an orthodox fighter. Those sort of nuances, those changes can, you know, really throw a fighter off. But let me tell you something, Dricus is one of those guys that doesn't get phased. He just wants a credible opponent. When I went through the roster of guys that we could offer Dricus with him, and I spoke to him, he said, I don't want to fight those guys. I want somebody who's running wins. I want an absolute beast. That's who we found. So when it comes down to how Dricus is going to prepare or change for this fight, I think that he does enough work when it comes up to the fight camp. In the 8 weeks that he prepares, I think he does enough work in every area that he doesn't really have to change much. He just maybe a few little bits and bobs that he'll refine, but he's coming to prove a point in this specific matchup. Wow, that's cool. I mean, you know, we have a plan for Dricus' next opponent after De Roa. It's a massive fight. It's the one that everybody's going to sit back and go, thank you, EFC. Obviously we haven't signed it and it isn't concluded, so I don't want to jump the gun, but let me tell you something, it's set for August, it's back in Johannesburg, and it's against a big name. It's going to be a cool fight. Let's put it this way, Dricus is a huge star in the promotion. We love him fighting for us. He's always a company man. He steps up to the plate. He steps up to any challenge, and he never wants to take the easy road. There's so many fighters who will go, you know, that guy's got a nice padded record, I'll go for that. This kid wants the toughest fights we can throw at him. And the one after August, including this fight against De Roa and the one after, are both those types of fights for him. And should he come out tops in those two fights, I can guarantee you something, the kid's, you know, set for the biggest stage in the world. is there a build-up to seeing Henry Fadipe in the cage again? It's there in black and white. Go read any social media post. How could you not want to see that fight between Dricus and Fadipe? Obviously we want it to happen. It's a long drawn-out procedure with getting these papers for Henry Fadipe. In this particular case, there were things we didn't know as an organization that, had we known, we probably would have said, listen, wait till that's sorted out before we offer anybody this fight. And do we want this fight to happen? It's there in black and white. Everyone can see it. Go into any social media post, you can see Henry Fadipe, Dricus. They're going at each other. They don't like each other. They want this fight. Dricus has intimated that he won't fight Henry. But if the price is right and the fight makes sense, I can guarantee you he'll fight him. It's just a matter of time. I mean, if we get Henry Fadipe here in South Africa, and then we say, Dricus, he's here, he's on the shores, will you fight him? It's going to happen. EFC 59, I know we're focusing in on Dricus and De Roa, but let me tell you, that whole fight card is so amazing. The fact that we've added Joe Cummins, the slick-talking Joe Cummins, against Sean De Lange, a guy, like, these two guys just love fighting. Joe said to me, Graeme, you know, I don't want any other fight. I want this guy specifically, because what he does is he stands in the pocket and he loves to trade. We know that about Sean De Lange. He loves to stand and just throw down. Does that make for the most exciting fight we can possibly put on? Sure. Yes, they're the most entertaining fights. So that's right up there. That's just below Dricus. Then you've got Ozzy Thomas, the Welshman, another guy who loves to talk so much trash and he can back it up. He's running wins. He's a spectacular performer. He's going up against Pierre Boert, who just won a performance bonus and a fight of the night bonus against Sizwem Nakati. Is that going to be exciting? Yes. Then we've got another Felipe Rocha coming from France. He's Cyril Asker's training partner. The kid's slick. He's a young up-and-comer. We could see the next contender against Demar Pena out of that fight against Francois Groenewald. So I'm really excited about that one. The whole fight card. Go through it. It's stacked. So what you can expect on EFC 59 or on the night is a mind-blowing experience of local talent versus some of the best in the world from all over the world. So, yeah, strap in. It's going to be cool. It's going to be a cool night.